What's up, everybody? Just like in my AR and SMG video, I apologize. I've been so busy lately, and I haven't been able to get out my SMG close range video. But that's what this video is going to be today. Disclaimer: I did long range for ARs and LMGs because I like both ARs and LMGs. For close range, it's going to be solely SMGs because I don't like promote using, whatever. I hate shotguns. They're G8 in private tournaments now. And I don't know anyone that uses one. I actually really don't know anyone that uses one. Anyone I do play with, they all hate them. It's just not typically loved by great players unless they're just goofing around with it. Typically, people aren't a big fan of shotguns unless you like to hold buildings and hold corners. And no shotgun's really broken. So shotguns will not be in this video. But that being said, let's go ahead and get into my favorite SMGs. Okay, and here at number 10, we're going to start with the Solos Beast, the good old classic Fennec. Easily one of the best Solos weapons. It's got an extremely fast time to kill because of the fast fire rate. It dominates in solos. You can use it in duos, but unfortunately, it is unusable in trios and quads. You can try it if you want. I definitely would not recommend it. The build we're going to do is the ZRL 18-inch deadfall barrel. It's the equivalent to the monolithic integral barrel on the MP5. It's got the built-in suppressor. It's pretty much the same kind of barrel. You do the Merc foregrip, the 40-round drum mag, the tack laser. And then sleight of hand if you want to run in duos. If you're not running in duos and just running in solos, you could drop sleight of hand and you could do the stipple grip tape for ADS and sprint to fire speed, or you do no stock for movement speed and ADS speed. I would recommend, if you're not going to run sleight of hand, to run the no stock because the movement speed on the Modern Warfare guns is not what the Cold War guns are. But if I was going to run it, I would probably run it like this, especially because I don't really play solos. From there, we move on to my number 9. It's the MP7. I've seen a resurgence in the use of this. It's got a very competitive up-close TTK. It's got a decent damage drop-off for an SMG. And it's just a classic gun that I've actually surprisingly seen the resurgence in. And it's monolithic suppressor, recon barrel, tack laser, Merc foregrip, and the 60-round mag. Once again, you could drop one of the attack. You could do no stock to help with the movement speed and the ADS speed, since it's not going to be as good as the Cold War guns. If you're going to do that, I would probably drop the tack laser, but I prefer to have the tack laser for the aim down sight speed, the aiming stability if you're going to shoot a little bit of range. That's just what I prefer, but you can drop that for the no stock. I wouldn't drop any of the other attachments. From there, I have the CX9. I think you can plug the AUG into this, and if you worry even more about movement, you could plug in the AK-74U, and by the way, the AUG, I do mean the Modern Warfare AUG, because they all three have the same problem, and they're just slow to ADS. They all have good time to kills, especially the Modern Warfare AUG has a surprisingly good time to kill when you throw on the 5.56 rounds. But it's going to be monolithic suppressor, tack laser, Merc foregrip, 50-round drum. We don't run a barrel, and you have to run this stock and the tack laser because the ADS is just awful on this gun. You can run a barrel if you want. You do this instead of the monolithic suppressor, do the CX38S. I don't think any other ones have. Then the CX23S has sound suppression in it, and it helps your ADS, but then it hurts the bullet velocity, and it's just best to run the monolithic suppressor. The CXFR9 stock you have to run because it helps with your movement speed and your ADS speed, which are both abysmal on this gun, being a Modern Warfare gun and it just being a slow ADS gun. Like I said, you can plug the AUG in there. The AUG is going to be very similar. You're going to have to focus on ADS because of the slow ADS, and then you'd put on the 5.56 NATO round. There's 2 different drum sizes depending on the mode you play. I'm not a big fan. I'd rather run the CX9 if I'm going to run a slow Modern Warfare SMG, and you could run the AK-74U in here. I just don't like the feel of it. I'd rather run the CX9 as slow as it is, because even for Cold War guns, that AK-74U is a slow gun. From there, we move on to, and as much as this hurts me, the Modern Warfare MP5 is slotting in at 7. I think you could move this as far up as 5, but no higher than 5, and it could go anywhere from 5 to 7, depending on your playstyle, because unfortunately, it did receive that nerf as a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And so it's just not what it was. It's still probably the best hip-firing gun in the game. Absolute hip-fire beast. Still viable. It's just not as dominant as it used to be. You go the monolithic integral suppressor, the Merc foregrip, 45-round mag, and then you either do the collapsible stock because it helps with your movement speed and your ADS speed, and you either do sleight of hand because you need more bullets to kill people because of that nerf, or how I like to run it more, I go with the tack laser over sleight of hand, and I just rely on game sense and movement to make it work with the lower ammo. But if you don't want to do that, or you're just going to be ultra aggressive, just push, 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 push. Sleight of hand is definitely important on this gun. From there, we move on up to the MAC-10. And the MAC-10 for me just doesn't do it. If you played with me, if you watched my videos before, you've heard me complain. I just don't like the MAC-10. You just run out of ammo too much, but it's just too easy to use to not include. And like I said, 7 through 5 are pretty interchangeable in my mind, including the MAC-10. And it's going to be the usual Agent Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, 53 round drum mag, and Raider stock. Now, I have been seeing a lot of good Warzone players, like the streamers and stuff, switch out stocks and go with the equivalent of the Bruiser Grip. I still personally like the stock because I like the sprint to fire time, and with the Bruiser Grip helps overall movement speed. On the Raiders, on both the Raider stock and the combat stock, you can run either your choice, even the no stock if you just want the sprint to fire. But on the combat and the Raider stock, you get both aim walking speed and ADS firing move speed. And then if you want to run combat stock instead of the sprint to fire time edition, you get the firing movement speed edition. From there, we move on up to 5, and here's the Milano. Like I said, I think 5 through 7 are interchangeable. The Milano's big advantage here is its far damage drop-off. It has the farthest of all the SMGs, but what hurts it and doesn't move it even further up the list because that damage drop-off is nice, is its slow fire rate, meaning you absolutely have to hit your shots, or you're going to lose out, at least in my mind, to pretty much everything on this list if you're not hitting your shots. Milano has no recoil at all, so it's extremely easy to hit your shots, but that slow rate of fire is a factor. And we run the typical Agent Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Raider stock, or on this gun, it's the SAS Combat stock again, and the drum mag, or you drop the stock for a Bruiser Grip. And now that moves us into top 4. I wish I could put this gun higher, but it runs into the Modern Warfare MP5, the Fennec, and the MAC problem. And that's just, the OTS does not have enough ammo. The 40 round mag is okay because it has such a fast time to kill, but you do find yourself struggling with ammo. So once again, if you are okay with that, you can just rely on game sense, movement, and ability to outplay people and make the 40 round mag work. And just like you can do the same on the MAC-10, you can go to the fast mag. It does hurt your ADS, but Cold War guns, especially SMGs, have such good ADS that it's not a huge penalty. I just don't prefer that penalty when you don't get any additional rounds. And I run it like I run everything else. And once again, you can drop the stock for the Bruiser Grip. So that moves us in the top 3. I think the top 3 are very interchangeable depending on how you like to play, how you feel the guns. And like I said, if you're skilled, 4 might even move all the way up to 1. But I really think 3 you can kind of interchange. I don't necessarily have one preference over another with these 3. But number 3, I have the PPSH. It doesn't have the best time to kill. It doesn't have anything super crazy about it. It doesn't have the longest damage range, but it does have the second best damage range drop off. And it just has a better fire rate than the Milano. And I just think it feels better than the Milano. So that's why I have it at 3. Some people really don't like this gun at all. I know it's not very popular, but just trust me, give it a chance. This thing is actually a beast because of that damage drop off. It's average TTK, but I just love the damage range. It's really good for a sniper support to a Swiss or a car, or an LMG secondary. But we go Groove Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, 55 round drum, and Raider stock. Once again, you can switch out the stock for the Bruiser Grip. You can also go on this one, it's the Spetsnaz PKM stock. It's just kind of preference, but that's really the only way I'd play with these attachments. And then number 2, we go into one of my favorite SMGs that I've ever used in Warzone. It's just so easy to use. The ammo's great. This is a build that if you're not worried about the ammo, because it does come around with a 50 round mag, that I would run, because that 50 round mag is nice and it takes away the mag attachment. So you go Groove Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, KGB Skeletal stock, and then you either go Bruiser Grip, or for me I go 65 round mag, and I drop the Bruiser Grip, and once again you can drop the stock and go with the Bruiser Grip if you want to run a mag. But on the Bullfrog, the best part is you just don't need a mag. And you just mix in 1 or 2 headshots, and it's got one of the best SMG TTKs in the game. Easily in my top 3. And like I said, I really think you can switch 1 through 3 depending on your preference. And that brings us to number 1. It's always my number 1 SMG. I just absolutely love this thing. Like I said, I don't really have a preference with 1 through 3 too much, but if I had to pick, this is going to be my number 1 every time. It just keeps ending up as my number 1 SMG when I make these videos. And it's just the Cold War MP5 just kills so good, especially when you hit even just one headshot. And you just, I don't know. I just feel like it's just so dominant when you do use it. I still see it all the time. It's a very good gun. And the weird part about it is you don't run a barrel on it because the Task Force barrel gives you about 10% extra range. So it only brings it to 10.5 meters to between 11 and 12. And without a barrel, as long as you're using a blueprint, you get this really clean iron sight versus with the barrel on it, you get the full circle. It's a little bit of a thicker circle and it's just a chunkier iron sight. So this is the only SMG that really breaks away from the normal formula. It's Agency Suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, 50-round drum, and Raider stock. This thing's an absolute beast, dominant. Still got one of the best time to kills. You don't run into the ammo problem as much as you do with the OTS, the MAC, the Fennec, the Modern Warfare MP5, and I just really think that this is the best SMG to use if I had to pick one and only one, especially because the Cold War guns are so good at mobility and you can use them in close range and they still have good time to kills. So with this thing having a short damage drop off, which isn't any worse really than the Modern Warfare one, this thing just has such a good time to kill, just feels consistent, and it feels great. But with all that being said, if this video is helpful for you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more. I will have my social medias linked down below, so please feel free to visit those. But I will see you in Verdansk on Rebirth Island. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.